Um, so I've done 3 levels so far. I'm currently halfway through my level 4, but I'm in the middle of my GCSEs, so it's quite intense. Um, the so it originally started because I didn't speak in school at all. I didn't speak. I spoke a bit in primary school, but it was still on the quieter side. All of my reports said it'd be nice if you participated. and so and so when I went to high school, I just didn't speak at all. I couldn't speak. I couldn't ask to him. I go to a strict school, so you have to ask to take your blazer off and stuff. So I couldn't ask for that. I couldn't ask for water. I couldn't say that I felt sick. I couldn't say that I needed the toilet. I just did not speak at all. And so I needed to be able to communicate with a friend, to be able to say things like, "I need help. I'm going to be sick." Like just for like your basic bog standard needs. Like if something was wrong, you needed to be able to communicate like that. Like if all of a sudden there was a fire, start like very unusual. But if I found a fire in school, I needed to be able to say to somebody, "Look." And so the original aim of Let's Make a Difference was to make it so that another child never had to feel the way I felt again and felt that they couldn't communicate. And so hopefully the plan is to continue Let's Make a Difference and continue spreading awareness and eventually make it Let's Make a Difference a job. But there's so many things that I'd love to be able to do. Like I go into a couple of schools locally and I go and do like talks and I teach a bit and like pieces. But just to continue to just do what I'm doing and spreading the awareness and teaching about it and showing that although it's a major part of deaf culture, and I try to be as mindful of that as possible because that is part of being deaf, but to bring sign language to a wider community of it's not. And like obviously Makaton is very useful, but BSL is far more useful. And to bring and just bring community to the country basically is my I get a lot of parents message me who say like their children who 1, 2, 3 children who haven't learned to speak yet and they're like only babies, they don't speak, and then there's children who are 2, 3, 4, 5 who just haven't ever spoken, and it affects so many people, and like you don't realize how much a difference sign language makes to so many people until you out there and go, have you ever thought about this? And so many parents go, boom, because it's just not offered on the. I was watching Rose Aileen Ellis documentary. It's just not offered on the NHS, and it's like insane that it helps so many people. You'd think they'd offer, they just don't. Um, Obviously, learning anything is hard. Learning a whole foreign language is hard, and like obviously the same language and like some of it SSE follows the same structure, which I found easier to learn than BSL. But learning a whole language is hard. But it was I seem to have developed a natural talent. Like I have cousins in America who speak ASL, and I know a little bit of AS. I can do the alphabet basically. And so I seem to be quite good at it. It seems to be a niche of mine, is my special interest to do with my autism. But obviously, learning a language is hard, full stop. It depends on the way you learn it. Like once I'd like learned the basics, I'd done my level 1. I found doing songs was really interesting because you found a song that you liked, and then you could and then you had to build on that, and you had to work out what the deeper meanings of things were and translate things. And I think it depends on the way you learn. You have to be excited and want to learn it to do well at it. I It worked really well at school because my head teacher actually signs. He has a previous he has a family history with it, and so when I brought it with me to communicate with my friends, we do greetings at the beginning and end of every lesson. I signed back, and you'd think you'd start with like your classroom teachers. No, I just started with the head teacher. Yeah, straight to the head teacher, and was the one of the only people I spoke to for maybe 6 months, a year. It was a long time. It started. It'll be 3 in October, so 2 years ago in October, last October. So it hasn't been going very long. but is still relatively new. I'm still learning things. Although the most interesting thing I found about it is people with regional variations. Like I did green was yesterday's, not yesterday's, the day before sign of the day, and there are so many variations. People are going, I do this and I do this, and I'm like, I'm blown. No, 100. Like you just look at it sometimes and go, like if I don't know a word and I go to look at like the BSL dictionary and stuff, I'm literally like, which one do I pick? Um, to not only to benefit yourself, I think it gives an alternative communication method, because I know it sounds ridiculous, but like, God forbid we all went to war or something, or you were stuck in a situation where you needed to communicate, even if you never use it again in your life, there's always that one situation where you might need to be able to communicate with somebody without using your words, and you might not have a phone. You might not be in a close proximity. You might meet somebody who doesn't speak, and you need to, and like, the workplace is becoming so diverse, like schools are becoming so diverse. We just need to open our world to community, and you might not think it'll help you. Like I have friends that I've taught it, and they've gone, I didn't realize that was going to help me so much. It's actually really helped me. And there's like, it's so many situations and so many different people that it helps. Whether you use it or not, it's always good to know. Like everybody knows the number for 999. Whether you have to use it or not in your life is a different story. But everybody's taught that number. But 50% of people, give or take, maybe a bit more, maybe a bit, never use it in their life ever. Like I've never had to use it personally, and I hope I never have to. But there'll be people in their lives who've never used it but know it. So why are we not learning something that will benefit the whole country? Um, so I struggle with, because of my autism, I struggle with selective mutism. Well, so it's not diagnosed, but selective mutism. So I really struggle to speak at times. And so there's been situations where I'd go into school and just, there was a week where I just couldn't open my mouth and speak. And like, even down to just answering the register, like the simple basic task of just saying, I'm here, I'm present in the room. It was just helpful to know that I could wave my hand and be like, I'm here. And just like, even just down to the basic things of, can I go to the toilet? Like just basic scenarios where it's so important, like just for human needs. um, so I've never, until this year, I've never had any support. Like my old Senko wasn't very supportive of it. Like some teachers are really for it, some aren't, because obviously teachers have a lot to deal with. On top of that, they don't need to be learning a whole other language and teaching 5-year group GCSE. And so some are really for it, some are really against it. But usually when I ask, like I've done a couple of sign of the days with my teachers, they're all really for it. And so some of them, they can work out what I'm saying, and then sometimes they have to ask my friend, or my friend will translate and be like, oh yeah, she said this. Most of them are really for it now, and my school are planning on, when it becomes a GCSE, as taking it as a GCSE. They're very excited, and they're literally like, so when is this? I need more information. So everybody's for it, but there has been situations where it's like people have just completely been like, no, go away. If you're not going to use your words, I don't want to talk to you. But mostly the opinion is positive, and it has been really helpful that people have been able to work, if they don't know what I'm signing, they've been able to work it out. And I try and remember to carry around a printout of the BSL alphabet, so when I put it on the desk, and so if they really can't work it out, I sit and spell it out to them. Be patient. Things don't always come as easy to us. Think communication can be harder for, linking back to sign language. Communication can be harder for us. It takes us longer to understand. My top tip is just be patient and listen. It's not always spoken, but look. I delivered a speech to my teachers for my English speaking exam, where I said, we're not always trying to be disruptive. We're not always trying to be difficult and hard, It might not always be as obvious, but if you take that 30 seconds to look over at that student, it tells you a lot just by looking at. Yeah, and we're very literal people, so sometimes it takes us longer to work out these things, and things need more explaining, and so just be patient. And it's not always verbal, sometimes it's visual, so be patient. Yeah, slow down and just be patient and respectful, because not like equality again, not everybody is the same, and just because you find something easy doesn't mean somebody else does. So just slow down and be patient and watch and listen.